Alright, next example is, again, going to combine some stuff we did in 4.1 with 4.2, sort of putting it all together. And I am going to find the entire matrix Q. Now, like I said, on the quiz and the final, we'd probably only ask you for one part. You'd only have to find one part. But I want to make sure I practice the whole thing, so I'm going to practice the whole thing. So first, the first thing I'm going to find is the multiplication part. I always start with the multiplication. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my matrix B, transpose it, then multiply it by my A. Because I can't multiply them unless I transpose B. If I don't transpose B, I can't do the math. Alright, so remember, when I take the B transposition, B was a 2 by 3. B transpose should be a 3 by 2. What was row 1 should become column 1. And so 1BA becomes the column 1BA. The row 2, 0C becomes column 2, 0C. Alright, so there's my B transpose, which I'm going to multiply by my matrix A. Alright, my matrix A was 1, 2, 0C, A, B, which is a 2 by 3. Now I can do the math. I've got 2 numbers in each row and 2 numbers in each column. Alright, I've got 3 rows. I'm going to multiply by 3 columns. And so when I do the multiplication of this, when I find my B transpose times A, I am going to get a 3 by 3 out. There's going to be 3 rows multiplied by 3 columns. Alright, I'm going to take row 1, right? I've got row 1, row 2, row 3, column 1, column 2, column 3. So I take row 1 by column 1, row 1 by column 2, row 1 by column 3. Row 2 by column 1, row 2 by column 2, row 2 by column 3, and then row 3 by column 1, row 3 by column 2, row 3 by column 3. And there's going to be my 6. So this time, not 6, I have to multiply 9 rows and 9 columns. Right, and I am going to do the product of all of them. Now, they're simple because there's just 2 numbers in each of them. So even though there's 9 here, there are only going to be, again, a product of 2 numbers multiplied out. So I'm going to kind of skip that middle step because most of those middle steps really are going to be mental math. All right, so I'm going to write it down here below. All right, so again, I like to circle the one I'm working with. So there's my row 1. I'm going to multiply by each one of those. So 1 times 1 is 1. Plus 2 times 2 is 4, so 1 plus 4 gives me out 5. 1 plus 0 is 0, and then I'm going to get 0 plus 2a, which is just 2a. And then 1 times c, which is c, plus 2b. And there is my first set of numbers. Alright, so I'm done with row 1. Now I move on to row 2. So row 2 is b times 1, which is b, plus 0, so I'm just going to write b. B times 0 is 0, plus 0 times a, so that's just 0. B times c, so bc, and 0 plus 0, so that's just bc. Alright, now I'm done with that. Now my last row, which I'm going to highlight. Alright, my last row by all 3 columns, so a times 1 is a, plus 2c. A times 0 is 0, and CA. A times C, which is AC, plus C times B, so CB. Alright, there is my B transpose times A, which is a 3 by 3. There are 3 rows, 3 columns. Right, there's step 1. Alright, so now I'm going to take, so remember what we're actually finding, now I'm going to take that and add it to 2 times D. So I'm going to write this down, so I make sure I'm very careful when I write it down. So my B transposed A was 5, 2A, C plus 2B, B, 0, BC, A plus 2C, CA, AC plus CB. Alright. And then my 2 times D. So I'm going to take my matrix D and multiply the entire thing by 2. Alright, so my matrix D times 2. So across the top it's going to be 4, negative 2, 0, 2, 6, 2, 2B, 2C, negative 2. Okay, now I'm just going to basically get a really big, messy, so I can see it. Alright, I'm going to get a big, messy resulting matrix, which I can add these, right? Because B is a 3 by 3, 2D is a 3 by 3. And so my resulting matrix is going to be a 3 by 3. And so when I do, I'm just basically going to get some big, ugly equations out for most of them. Right? So the first one is 5 and 4, so that just gives me out the number 9. The second one is 2a plus a negative 2, which again, typically rewrite that as 2a minus 2. CB 0, so that's just C plus 2B. Alright, there's my first row. Next one is B plus 2, so B plus 2. 0 plus 6 is 0, BC plus 2. Alright, the last row is the messy one. A plus 2C plus 2B. Alright, can't add it. There are no like terms. I can't add anything together. CA plus 2C. And then the last one, AC plus CB minus 2. And there is my ugly matrix. Now, that's my entire matrix Q. Right, I found the whole thing. Now, like I said, on the quiz and the final exam, what they typically will do is they'll only ask you for one. They'd probably ask you for one of the messy ones. Something like maybe Q32. So the one in row 2. So row 3, column 2. Row 3. Row 3, column 2. Which would be this one. Alright, CA plus 2C. Row 3, column 2. And that would be the one you'd have to find if this were a final exam. And this was a final exam question. I just can't remember which one they asked you for. I'll practice the whole thing because it's just good practice. And so this kind of has everything almost in it except for subtraction. And it's got transposition, multiplication, scalar multiplication, and addition. The only thing I didn't practice in this one was subtraction, but I did do that in the last one. Alright, so we will stop there.